Welcome to Call Me Rufus. I'm your host, Leo. In the series premiere, I'll be going over the motivation behind the channel, possible content, release schedule, hardware overview, and a little bit of gameplay. I created this channel for 3 reasons. 1. To try something new and see if I can build up a new set of skills based on my hobbies and interests, such as photography, videography, video editing, and script writing. 2. To complete some of the games I've bought but haven't had the chance to play. 3. To post footage of my gameplay along with commentary. My wife finds my in-game comments and swearing funny and feels others would enjoy the experience. Unlike other videos, however, my content will not offer any special insights, improved playing techniques, or anything useful in general. While the primary focus is gameplay, I think I might post some reviews once I've completed a game. Those reviews might not be limited to video games. I might extend my reviews to consumer electronics, anime, manga, or anything else that might tickle my fancy. I'm going to try to follow the season episode format on a weekly release schedule, with the first season being mostly gameplay over the next 24 weeks, and releases being on Thursday. I had originally wanted to start releasing content in January of 2023, but that clearly didn't happen. I may have to store up some content so I can release on a regular schedule while I get better at script writing and video editing. Anyways, let's move on to something more interesting. Let's break down my video capture, ingest, and editing desktop, as well as my mobile recording laptop. The brain of the system is an Intel Core i5-2400 from 2011. This is a quad-core processor running at 3.4 GHz. The heart of the system is an Asus P8-P67LE, which has 2 PCIe 16X slots, with one running at 16X while the other runs at 4X. It also has 2 PCIe 1X slots and 3 PCI slots. It features onboard Realtek 8111E Gigabit Ethernet, via VT6308P Firewire, 2 SATA 6 ports, 4 SATA 3 ports, and 1 eSATA 3 port. The system has 4 8GB Patriot Viper 3 DDR3 1600 MHz memory sticks for a total of 32 gigs of memory. For video and hardware transcoding, there's a Zotac GeForce 1060 3GB installed in the PCIe 16X slot running at 16X. For storage, the OS drive is a 500GB Samsung 860 EVO SATA SSD. Since the case doesn't have native 2.5-inch drive mounts, a StarTech 2.5 to 3.5 SATA SSD converter is used to mount the OS drive to the case. The data drive is made up of 2 WD Green 1TB SATA hard drives configured as a software-based mirror using Windows Disk Management. The backup drive is a WD Blue 1TB SATA hard drive. Finally, all the hardware is installed in an Antec Sonata 3 500 mid-tower case, which has 3 5.25-inch external drive bays, 2 3.5-inch external drive bays, 4 3.5-inch internal drive bays, a rear 120mm fan, and a 500-watt Antec Earthworks power supply capable of supplying 45.3 amps on the 12-volt rail, which is more than enough current to power the video card. For audio capture, I use an M-Audio Profire 610 audio interface connected via Firewire 400 6-pin and an Apex 435 condenser microphone connected via XLR. For video game capture, I use an AOLTech 4K USB 3.0 HDMI capture card. What I like about this card is the pass-through HDMI output so I can play on the TV without lag. For the operating system, I use an OEM license of Windows 10 Professional. For video editing, I use CyberLink PowerDirector 16. The OS and data drives are imaged using Macrium Reflect 8 Home to the backup drive, which is then copied off to a central backup server running in and out building using Free File Sync. The central backup server then moves the data off-site using Backblaze Professional. Finally, my editing desktop is in a horrible room for recording. To record cleaner audio, I use my mobile recording laptop in a room with better acoustics. My mobile recording laptop is a mid-2012 MacBook Pro that originally came with 4 gigs of memory, a Seagate 500GB SATA hard drive, and ran OS X Lion. That has since been upgraded to 16 gigs of memory, a Samsung 850 EVO 1TB SATA SSD, and runs macOS Catalina. For audio capture, I use a Zoom TAC2 audio interface connected via Thunderbolt 2 using a mini DisplayPort cable. I share the Apex 435 condenser microphone between the M Audio and Zoom interfaces. For audio recording, I use Kakos Reaper. Once I finished recording my voiceovers, I copied the project from the laptop to the desktop. Now let's try some gameplay and commentary. The game of choice today is R-Type, a side-scrolling shooter, and is one of those games from my childhood I look back at fondly. This is being played on a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus using an Xbox One S controller over Bluetooth and a VAVA 12-in-1 USB-C docking station. I first played R-Type at my uncle's neighborhood grocery store. He partnered with a guy to host 2 arcade games. They would get rotated once in a while, so I got to play games like R-Type, as well as games like Trojan, Ghosts and Goblins, and 1946. That's also where I learned I could use slugs from electrical junction box punch-outs as quarters. The thing about R-Type is that it's an unforgiving game. It was made during the arcade era, so the whole point was to get you to spend your money as quickly as possible. Plus, I was never really good at the game, so you'll get to see me die. A lot. That brings us to the end of episode 1. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you found some of the content engaging, interesting, or entertaining. If you did, please like and subscribe. Until episode 2.